Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. My name's Raul. Thank you guys for joining me on my Facebook page. As you guys know, I go live Monday through Friday. With the exception of this week, we have Thanksgiving on Thursday, so I'm going to be taking a day off from the lives, and I should be back on Friday. Do you guys see the header? Today's live and video is very important because I think that every single person in the world goes through this, right? It goes something like, what happens, or what do you do, or what to do when you feel like you give and give and give and don't receive back. This is super important. This is something that a lot of people, I see people posting like, after world, right? Like they get really pessimistic, they get in a dark place. I see people posting things about being backstabbed or betrayed, or giving trust to people, or I learned to roll alone, or I don't want to trust someone, right? I see a lot of this stuff going on Facebook, and there's a reason why we feel this way, right? This is one of the most common confrontations and things that we have to go through as adults, as human beings, right? So first of all, off the bat, the giving game, the path of giving to others is not an easy one. So you have to understand that from the beginning. You have to understand that giving, it's an act of selflessness, not selfishness, selflessness. Ultimately, we will like to be, oh my God, superhuman, the children of God, that we want to give and not feel like we want something back. But it's not natural. We want something back. We deserve something back. Everybody's entitled to get something back. That's just the way life works as well. So I want to go over a small triangle, a small circle, or it's a triangle that it's a concept or a system you can use. Sorry. This is a concept. Give, receive, share. Give, receive, share, give, receive, share. So that is a very simple triangle, and that is kind of like a good practice to have in life, because when you give and you receive and then you share, you're kind of going in a circle, right? And that when you give, what's going to happen is that karma, the universe, God, life is going to share with you, right? It's going to give you something back, so you're going to receive. And what's going to happen after you receive, when you're going to give again, now you are sharing what you got, right? And this is like a cycle of prosperity, a cycle of personal growth, a cycle of all the good things in life, right? So that's one purpose that we need to really believe in and have. Give, receive, share, give, receive, share. If you really pay attention, you're going to notice that if you live a life of giving, you're always going to be taken care of one way or another. So that's one concept, right? But really, when we feel like we give and give and give and we just don't get back, there could be an issue with mindset. I'm going to go over different things, okay? Maybe one of the answers applies to you. Maybe your mindset is right and the problem is somewhere else. But we got to figure this out. So I'm going to talk a lot about everything that comes to my mind when it comes to that issue. Maybe mindset is right. Think about it this way. When you are giving, do you have an interest behind? When you already have a hidden agenda that you are giving and you're specifically expecting something in return, that is very important to remember, because you are giving with purpose. The purpose is to receive something back. So then there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to ask yourself, is this person one of the ones that gives back? Is this person gonna give me back? So that brings me to the next point. If you feel like you're giving and not receiving, are you giving to the wrong person? So it's not the whole concept of giving that is wrong. It's a concept of maybe giving at the wrong time, giving to the wrong person, right? So it's important to, clean your surroundings and clean your environment and have it to be as much as a like-minded or better than you, in which these people are going to take you to growth. We have to deal with all kinds of people in our life. That's fine, right? We have acquaintances, we have clients, we have coworkers, we have people in our surroundings, people walking on the street, fine. But we don't have to deal with these people the majority of our time. We choose to deal with the people we choose to deal. So just like everything, you have to be intentional, you have to act purposely, right? Surround yourself by the people that are part of your mission, part of your goal, part of who you are, those things that are important to you. Your identity, right? You don't want to be associated, right, with just anyone. You want to be associated with people that can represent you and do you justice. So maybe you are giving to the wrong person. That is very important. So sometimes that's hard, because if it's a loved one, if it's a partner, if it's a child, if it's your parents. I mean, we see all kinds of things. It's very common that sometimes you're giving and giving and giving and giving, but you need to stop, because you're not going to receive back. You're really trying to get an attention, a love, a hug, a retribution to where you're telling them that you care for them so much, and you're not going to receive it back. So it's super important that you open your eyes to that, because you continue to hurt yourself, and it's going to make your life very bitter. It's not worth it living your life very bitter, because you are giving, 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 and you're not receiving back. So remember that. Make sure you give to the right people. People are going to reciprocate what you give to them. Now, next thing will be, for example, giving and receiving, right? There's a saying that in life, in the world, there's a time for everything. So maybe right now is not the time to give. Right now is the time to receive. Who knows? So you have to know where you are in life. Let me tell you this. If you spend yourself giving and giving and giving and doing things for others 24/7, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to be drained. You're going to be stressed out. You're going to get sick. You're not going to feel great. Giving is a good thing. Giving is a wonderful thing. It's God's work, right? But just because giving is good, it doesn't mean that you have to always do it. There has to be a time for you to get something back. There has to be a time for you to receive. You need to baby yourself, nurture yourself, love yourself. You know how they say self-love, super important. You need to make sure that you sharpen your saw, right? If you are using the same knife or the same utensil over and over and over and over on the same thing, what do you think is going to happen? Think of using a saw to cut down a tree, which I'm not telling you to cut down a tree, right? I don't want any activists going after me. But you're going to cut down a piece of wood, and you're using this as your tool daily and daily and daily, and that's your job and that's your thing. And all of a sudden the saw is dull and you never sharpen it. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to make your job harder, and it's also going to affect your work. That cut that you're doing, that precision cut, that beautiful artwork that you're trying to make with the wrong tool or the beat up tool, the mess up tool, the dull tool, it's not going to produce what you want. So all your hard work and all your intentions and all your love, it's going to go to waste because you didn't sharpen the saw. You didn't sharpen the tool. So that's a metaphor or something symbolic for you giving some time for yourself. So think about it this way. For example, when you learn and you learn and you learn, now, normally what comes with learning? Teaching, right? So I have a feeling that my network goes in and out. I don't think so, but I don't know. I just have a feeling. Well, anyways, when you teach, what comes next? When you learn, what comes next? Teaching, right? So imagine if you're teaching and teaching and teaching and you stop learning, or if you're teaching the same thing over and over and over. One of the most beautiful things in life is growth, learning, progressing, transforming yourself, right? Becoming a better version of yourself. So every stage that you go through, there's a lesson learned, right? A million lessons learned, right? So what happens when you want to share this with people? You share a lesson, you share two, you meet somebody who's on your shoes a month ago, a year ago, and you're able to give good feedback, because guess what? It's not something you read in a book. It's something that you lived. So you're able to teach this person something very valuable, and you know their experience, you know what they went through. So let's hope they follow your advice, right? So what happens when you stop learning? You stop nurturing yourself. You stop giving to yourself that time to learn. No matter what we do in life, there has to be time to learn and to grow ourselves. Because what's going to happen is that if we're giving and giving everything that we've taken, everything that we absorbed so far, and we're like throwing it and giving it and sharing it, which is good, right? Sharing is good. But guess what? If you don't continue to nurture yourself, you don't continue to read and study, meditate, pray, take care of yourself, that self-care, what's going to happen? You're going to get drained. You're going to feel beat up. You're going to feel non-productive. You're going to feel empty and a void, and you're not going to have the motivation and that love and care and emotion for what? Giving back. It's like there's nothing worse than a burnt out teacher, right? Yes or no? Right? What do you want for your child? One of those energetic, you can tell the difference between a burnt out teacher, or you show up to a place to order food and your server's burnt out, or you know what I mean? It's like someone burning your food, right? We don't want that. So guess what, guys? Make sure that you're not burning yourself out by giving and giving and giving and not receiving. right? So we need to do that job. It's our number one job. It's like, what is the first job a leader has is to lead themselves. You got to lead yourself into sharpening your saw so you're always ready to give to people. And again, I don't want you guys to forget, watch the beginning of the video. We talked about not giving on the wrong time, right? Or not giving to the wrong person. Identifying that the problem is not giving. The problem is maybe we're, not giving to the right person. Okay, so you have to create your boundaries. You have to create limitations. You have to have respect and love for yourself. We have to give ourselves the place, and there's absolutely nothing with that. Okay, so another thing will be giving at the wrong time. Again, self-explanatory, right? We talked about it. You don't want to give when you have to receive. You make sure that you receive and you give. It's a little cycle that you're going to go through. That cycle is going to keep you strong. That cycle is going to bring blessings to your life, but we got to know to recognize when our body's tired. We need to take a break, right? Not weeks or months, maybe hours, maybe a day, maybe a day. Okay, because you guys are on a mission. We can't forget hard work. We can't forget being relentless. We can't forget being fearless. We can't forget pumping ourselves up and feeling motivated. Like we can't forget that. If you have not made it yet, you cannot lay back and relax and live your life on break. You need to make sure that you are super intentional and purposeful to get to the line, to the end, because a lot of people, what they do is that we work, and we give up. Right before the line, we give up, right? So we don't want to feel complacent. We don't want to feel comfortable. You don't want to feel like you learned everything, but you also have to know when your breaks come in. It's like your body. Your body's a beautiful example. Let me give you guys two examples. Your body, you breathe in, you breathe out. What happens if you just breathe in? I don't think you blow up, but you die, right? What happens if you only breathe out and you're no longer breathing in? You die, right? Run out of oxygen. So what does that tell you? God tells you through your body and the world that you breathe in and you breathe out. Stock market. You guys are into financial markets. You guys are into investing. You guys are into the stock market. What happens with a stock? It goes up and it goes down. And it goes up and it goes down. Guess what? Nothing can go up forever. Not even Bitcoin. It's like, those people that think that something can just go up without retracing doesn't make sense. Why? Because people are not just going to buy and hold forever. People are going to sell, collect profits, wait for it to go down and rebuy again if they're smart. So that tells you that life is but a roller coaster and this movie, this ride of ups and downs. So that's how our sharing and receiving has to be. You share and you learn. You share, you receive back. You want to be in a relationship where you equally give, right? Or if one person gives a lot and then you start taking back and the other person gives a lot, whatever motion, whatever game you guys have going on, there has to be that mutual respect, mutual communication, mutual love, mutual work, all of those good things. Super important, right? In order to keep you in balance so you feel great about things. Because what's going to happen is you're going to feel empty. You're going to feel unhappy. There's something very important that if you are giving and you don't feel good about it, that's huge. It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing to feel like you are giving and not receiving back because it creates confusion inside of you. Why? Because giving is a good thing. So how can a good thing feel bad? It's like love. Why is love so hard and so confusing relationships? Because love, it's like number one, right? God is love, right? But we go through hell for love. How does that work? That gives you a great lesson in the black and white, the yin and yang, the balance of life. That just because something is inherently good doesn't mean that it can't hurt you. It could hurt you with the right circumstances, wrong timing, wrong person, wrong you. Again, I'm not trying to blame anybody. I want you really to always focus on you, but you got to be also wise and think about yourself as well. Love yourself as well. You can't always be apologizing. You can't always be the person that's wrong. You can always be taking the fault. It doesn't work like that, right? You need to be, the more you work on yourself, the more you're learning, you study, and you're wise, and you're growing, and you're really focused on your development, the more you're going to give yourself that respect to realize, wait, you're going to recognize people around you. They're just fools. They're fools. So you can't just give in to fools. It doesn't work like that. Give yourself the place. But before you can earn that place, you need to put in the time. What happens when you learn a new instrument? You put in the time. What happens when you make a baby? You put in the time. How long is it in your belly? My ladies, a long time, right? And then what happens? The miracle of life happens, right? what about us? We're born. First you're a fetus, first you're nothing, then you're a seed, then everything boom, 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 boom. Like next thing you know, you're an adult. But what happens between you being born and being a successful adult, making children, right? So that's just the process of life. So don't forget, our number one goal in life is to what? Put it in the comments. To grow. What is it that you want to do? 2022 is around the corner. What is it that you want to do? Grow, right? You want to grow, whatever that means. Maybe you're short, you can't grow anymore. Oh well, but guess what? Your brain never stops growing. Your brain is number one. That's the powerful machine that cannot be imitated by man, even though we're working hard at it, right? It's always going to be like, oh my God, it's amazing. It never stops growing and developing, right? So we need to make sure we have time for ourselves. So what to do when you feel like you are giving and giving and giving and not getting anything back? It's time to take a break from giving and focus on receiving. Now, if we're going to talk about business, we're going to talk about network marketing and things like that, it's going to be a little bit different, right? Because I think that if you feel like you're giving, 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 and you're not receiving anything back, there's something that you're doing wrong, which I guess is the same as what we talked about, but it's different. It's more specific. There's tactics, there's tools, there's things, there's specific ways that you need to be, and if you're not doing it, then you're probably doing it wrong, right? So that's a whole different shebang. If you feel like you are giving to your people, giving to your audience, giving to your customers, you're giving, giving, giving in your business, but you're not receiving back, then there's something wrong. We need to get to the bottom of that. That's why there's so many great coaches and great mentors and great tools out there, and that's not the purpose of this video. But since I have people who do business or people who are into that, they might think like, well, I feel like I'm sharing and I'm following directions and I'm doing what I'm told and something's not working. So we need to check the mindset. Number one, we need to check the mindset. We need to check really every single activity you do. And what is it exactly that you are doing, right? Because you might say, I'm doing the right thing, but how do you know you're doing the right thing? So you need to talk to someone who can guide you, someone who can help you with that. So I don't want to take any more of your time on this beautiful Tuesday. I hope you guys' day was fantastic. Guys, remember what we talked about yesterday. If something is important, act like it, right? Make it important. And a perfectly good exercise that I would love for you guys to continue to do throughout this week is that, hey, how are you? I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing great. I'm awesome. Never been better. Those are really good things to say about yourself because you are important. But if someone asks you, hey, how you doing? And you're like, not that bad, not too bad, not too shabby, so, I'm all right, man. When it rains, it pours. It's like, no one needs to hear about your problems. You need to deal with your problems. And one of the best ways to deal with your problems is by remaining positive and calm in the middle of the storm. So stop self-sabotaging yourself with your own words, and you can lie about it and say, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. How about you, right? Someone asks you about your wife and your kids, how they're doing. Don't you care about your wife and your kids? Don't you care about your husband? You do, right? So what are you going to say when I ask you, hey, how's your husband? So how's your kids? They're all right. Is that really what you want for them? No, that's not what you want for them. What do you want for your family, your loved ones? I want them to be great. How are you feeling today? I'm feeling rich, filthy rich, right? I want to do whatever I want with my time, with my money, and I'm going to go wherever I want. That's what I want for me. So that's how you want to feel. You want to say it with all your heart and feel it because there's a power behind feeling what you are saying. So I'll leave you guys with this. When you guys say your affirmations in the morning, which I hope you do, right? When you say your prayers, try your best to feel it. Think about it. If it makes you embarrassed and shy, do it when you're alone, do it when you're driving, when nobody's watching, when you're walking, whatever. Do it to yourself, do it by yourself so you can get used to it, because I always admire those people that they have no fear, they have no shame, they're not afraid to scream, right? There's some people that are just so out there, and you realize, and you're like, wow, they're happy. They're just so happy they get to do that. Some of us are a little bit more shy. We're not there yet, maybe. So we're not going to say, I love myself in front of everybody. Or you're not going to scream, I love myself in a car. And you're like, damn, who's watching me? Maybe nobody's watching you. Maybe you're just so self-conscious, full of yourself, right? But guess what? That's okay. Find your space, find the time, And when you are doing those affirmations of, like, let's say we're practicing talking about our goal, right? We talked about this last Friday, I believe. We talked about that goal, that thing you're working for, right? You're working for, I got a brand new home, or I got my first home. And think about that and say it, wow, I got my first home. And then feel it, right? Almost to the point where you're like so happy that you're like, oh shoot, I see myself in it. I can feel it. I see myself in it. That's wonderful. That's wonderful because you're throwing in some good energy. And that's like really rich law of attraction right there. When you put feeling into it, put some feeling into it, right? Like you gotta really like, it's like music, right? Some of us are a little bit more stiff. Yeah, you gotta put some, put some feeling into it. That's super important, right? A musician, when you play an instrument, when you sing, guess what people love? Where you music is alive. It's alive, right? It has a lot of feeling to it. So that's a whole point of like making things more real, right? Like movies. You go to a movie, 3D. Whoa, dinosaur almost destroyed my face. Came out of the screen, 3D. Wow, this is amazing. Now we got virtual reality, right? Now we got the metaverse from Facebook, things like that. Like it's funny how it's about making things that are not real. That's like the whole goal of humanity, right? To make things that are not real feel real. Like, why don't you just deal with the real thing, right? Right? Think about it this way. What's the real thing? You are the real thing, right? You are making your life right now. That's real. I'm live right now. That's real. So it's crazy. We kind of work backwards as human beings, but that's okay. Don't worry about what other people do. Focus on yourself and your happiness, and don't forget to give. So let's go over it again. Give, receive, share, give, receive, share. That's why I said triangle, right? It's like a triangle. Give, receive, share, give, receive, share, give, receive, share, give, receive, share. Boom. It's an endless triangle. Hitting multiple points. 3 things. Number 3, so powerful. Great principle. And I really hope that you guys can work with it and you guys enjoy it. So I will be talking with you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. Thank you guys for your support on my page. Thank you guys for supporting my business. As you guys know, I'm in the business of helping others. That's for sure. That's my passion. That's my goal. That's who I am. And I also do business with helping others. So if you guys know anyone or you yourselves are struggling with your credit, if you have goals, hey, you want to get your home, you want to get your hands on a new car, even to rent somewhere. Nowadays, if you guys are having struggles because of your past, right? The past is the past, but not according to that magical number. That magical 3-digit number that controls your life is your credit. Don't forget, credit is the most important number in your financial life. So it's super important that we get that in order to represent who you are today. Who you are yesterday, that's past. We make mistakes, fine. COVID, fine. Different things, lost my job, fine. But guess what? Life goes on and you need credit. People used to say cash is king, but is it really? You know that money depreciates more and more every day. And I mean, how much are you going to save with your job? Even if you have a good job. Guess what? Most people that have a good job and they make good money, they live up a certain lifestyle that involves spending a lot of money. So it's like the more you make, the more you spend. And a lot of times what people do is that they overspend, right? They have to live to people's expectations. They want to take vacations and trips. They want to look better than the next person. So guess what happens? We are not taught financial and wealth management and none of this stuff in school. So we make bad decisions. So guess what? In the end, you need credit. Credit is potential. Debt is important. That's how you make money in this country, by utilizing debt. That's reasons why rich people a lot of times don't pay the same amount of taxes that people like you and I do, because of credit, debt, and different things. Okay, so let's take advantage of the opportunities. I'm here for you. Reach out to me. We talk about it. If I can help you, I'm happy to do it. If I can help you, maybe I can suggest you where to go. And a consultation is free. You don't gotta pay me to talk. We can just chat it out, figure out your situation, figure out where you're at, see if there's anything I can do for you. And if I can, and the price is right? Because the value is there. If the price is right for you, then we can make sure that to make this happen. Fix your credit in no time, and let's get you inside that house. Let's get you in that car. Let's get you to live where you want to live and how you want to live, and utilizing credit and, getting that education and passing it on to others. So anyways, that was a non-paid commercial on my behalf. So for those who watching the end or watching the end of the video can get a little bit of information on that. So I will be talking to you guys tomorrow.